Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I'm so glad that you have made it here. And as you can tell by the title, the full moon is coming and we're going to chat about what you can expect energetically. But before we get right into that, if you are brand new to this channel, well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your time and your space with me. I'm so glad that you have made it here. And if this is our first time connecting, well, welcome to the tribe. We usually chat here about 2 to 3 times a week, so consider subscribing, because if you're into spirituality, if you're into the moon cycles, and you like to talk about zero waste, we're all about how we can live a more consciously driven life. So if that sounds good, you're going to absolutely love it here. But without keeping you here much further, why don't we get right into what you can expect with this full moon energetically that's coming up on August 15th. So let's get right into it. All right, so listen, full moon is coming up. If you are following the moon cycles, you might be wondering sort of what's in store for you energetically with this moon cycle. So I thought that I would just share a couple of the things that may or may not be coming up for you. We are going to be entering into the full moon in Aquarius, and Aquarius brings a sense of certain characteristics that we can sort of bring to the forefront, and maybe that's coming up for you as well. But before we get into what's actually coming up, I thought that I would just briefly touch on, if you are brand new to the moon cycles, the moon goes through different phases each month, and the more pronounced ones that most people end up paying attention to is the new moon and the full moon. New moon usually is the time where we get to set our intentions, sort of reflect, take a look, go within, do a lot more internal work. Whereas with the full moon, it's a little bit different. Everything is fully illuminated. Things become really obvious, both the positive and the negative, or as I'd like to say, both the things that need to be illuminated and the shadow side of ourselves and of other people might become a lot more glaringly obvious, which is sort of why I absolutely love these types of videos, because there's so many different ways of interpreting it. I like to interpret things in a way where it absolutely feeds our own growth, our own expansion. So let's talk about Now that we sort of have the basic idea of what the moon cycles are all about. Moon cycles, whenever you're following the lunar cycles, they're all about cyclic living and being in cycles with Mother Nature. So we're not always supposed to be pushing and striving and getting things. Sometimes it's about really just taking a look at how we can serve our own evolution. And that's sort of what I wanted to really spend a moment talking about. Energetically, what is really happening is, as we're entering into the full moon in Aquarius, Aquarius is a sign that is very much about, it's an air sign, and it's going to allow us to just sort of detach from the current drama, the current conflicts, the current situations that may be going on in your life, and really look through it through a different lens, through a different perspective, and see if we can shed some new light on whatever conflicts or whatever is coming up for us. Now, I have personally been feeling this energetic shift in the past few days, more pronounced in with our relationship with money and with our relationships in general. Just based on how the planets are aligning currently, those are the two that are sort of coming up. And then it's up to sort of us of what elements of that are we really going to be leaving behind, and what elements of that situation are we really stepping into. The big thing with Aquarius is that it's all about freedom and liberation and finding your own inner freedom. Personally, if you ask me, I would love to just add, as an Aquarius, that it's also about paving your own way. Maybe it's about finding your own way of how much you want to give your own energy to things, and then at what point will you shift that focus back onto yourself and say, okay, I've given enough energy for this particular thing, for this particular relationship, for this particular project, and now it's time to let that go, because ultimately it's no longer serving my best interest. Not other people's interest, not other projects' interest, but my own best interest that will allow me to move forward in a more positive way. And not just in a more positive way, I don't want you to really misunderstand that, because sometimes when people think about positivity, sometimes it kind of comes across like you're looking through life through colored, like rose colored lenses, and that's not really what we're talking about here. I think that I would just invite you to just really ask yourself, how are you truly feeling this lunar cycle with this full moon, and what parts of you are you ready to let go of that is really not serving your best interest? And not your best interest as in, can you conform and make friends and, play nice? This is not the energy that we're talking about here. We're not talking about conforming. We're talking about really just coming into your own and owning that element of you that is ready to evolve, making those friends that are really serving your best interest, and really just also completing an old cycle that feels heavy. It feels like it's not really serving you. That's what I'm talking about. That's the side of you that I would question, of like, how do you need to change and evolve? Because sometimes we can get so wrapped up in all of the drama and all of the relationships and all of the worries of money and worries within a relationship, of like having that level of uncertainty when we really aren't sure what's next. And we forget, I think, in all fairness, when we're looking at this full moon in Aquarius, one of the biggest thing is to remember how powerful we really are, because the choice is up to us of which direction we want to go into. You can talk to many psychics, you can look at a bunch of tarot card readings and all of those things, and you can look at so many different elements to guide you. But ultimately, I think one of the biggest thing is to just really tune into the moon, tune into where the cosmic energetic shifts are happening, and then use that to your advantage. Use that to better your body, use that to better your relationships, the projects that you're working on, and use that to empower you so that you're moving in a direction that you actually want to move into, instead of serving other people's agendas and other people's relationships. And if you're constantly feeling you're pouring more and more into something and it's really not serving you anymore, this would be a very powerful, very energetic time for you to let that go. And I hope that you will, because I hope that you will use this energetic shift to your advantage, because that's ultimately all of these readings are all about. It's just so that you tune in, where are the cosmos, what's happening with the moon, how does it align with the sun, and how can we use this energetic pull that we have to our advantage so that we better our lives, and then we're continuing to evolve and expand. Change is inevitable, obviously, but I think one of the biggest thing is to just tune in to what is happening in our lives. Where do we feel like there's gunk, there's stuckness, and what can we really do about it? Because this would be a really, really good time for us to, this would be the time that you're going to be able to shed more light on that, because it becomes more obvious. And I can relate to this in my own life because I see it with both eyes. It becomes glaringly obvious, like, hey, why are you still dealing with this? It's obviously not working. And in all honesty, I hope that you will take a little bit of time to meditate, to do some yoga, to do some quiet reading, and to really contemplate on ultimately what direction you want to go move into. What does that next chapter really looks like for you, energetically and otherwise? Because really I just feel like we can get really wrapped up in how the planets and the moon and all of that is happening. And then we forget that we have the option and we have the power to choose and to change our own direction and our own outcome so that it serves our best interest. But the big thing is that you just need to kind of tune into the right sources where that information can come through. And if you tune in and you take some time to tune in, then maybe you will get those insights and those little nudges, maybe within your body or maybe through meditation, where you will get more direction instead of feeling lost and confused. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I would love to know if you are creating a full moon ritual, what you're planning on releasing. For me, it has become very obvious that certain professional relationships and certain relationships are definitely ready to be left behind, because I just feel like right now we're at a point where it has ran its cycle. And especially if I'm being truly honest with myself, then ultimately the truth is that I'm not even sure that it's worth fighting for it anymore, because really, like, it's not about is it a positive or a negative thing. It's more just about it ran its cycle, and we have to honor it as, hey, it's finished. Like that aspect of your life is now finished. We're moving into a different direction that is going to be serving you at a much higher frequency, where you can truly create positive changes, which is what we're all about here. So I would love to hear from you guys. Comment below, let me know what is coming up for you energetically. This is one of the most powerful moon cycles that I have seen thus far. So I'm quite curious how it's affecting you guys. I had no idea that it's going to be moving into Aquarius, so that's just quite interesting. But we're all about freedom and liberation and really flowing, and Aquariuses definitely don't like to be stuck, and we definitely embrace change. So I hope that you will embrace change as well, and I hope that you are going to be looking at the changes within your life not from a really emotionally attached point of view, but really, will this serve my better interest, my better evolution ultimately? And if it does, then that will be the right direction for you. So by the way, if you are brand new here and you enjoy videos just like this one, consider subscribing, and you can also hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Right now we're at about 3 videos content such as this one, and we usually release 1 vlog update. If that changes, I will keep you guys posted. But for now, we're up to about 3 to 4 videos each week, and we kind of talk about a variety of different topics. So if you like videos such as this one, comment below, let me know so that I can create more of that for you guys, because I love chatting about astrology, about moon cycles, about how we are affected as energetic beings. It's always so interesting to me. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and just keep shining, you guys, because just know that you are so much more powerful than you think. And I will see you again in my next video. Bye.